So I hear about this a lot in the fighting game community and like talking fighting games and fighting game discussions in general. Everybody's like, oh, fighting game combos are so much easier now. They used to be so much harder, but now fighting games are just getting watered down and the combos are just way easier. Anyone can do them, etc., etc. But that's just not true, all right? And I am here to explain why that is. Now, I remember this whole discussion, this whole debate really started with Street Fighter V because I remember everybody saying after a good amount of time after Street Fighter V's release, everybody's like, oh, I miss Street Fighter 4. And then people have this discussion and this debate of like, Street Fighter 5's easier than Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 had more mechanics, had more depth, and then gets into the argument of Street Fighter 4 was a much harder game, had way harder combos, and that was what made it better and more interesting and more fun to watch, was because the combos were harder to do. I think that kind of goes into like a deeper discussion of player expression, and you know, combos being quote unquote harder, I don't think was the actual problem. I think there just wasn't as many people trying to play the game with as much ways to get good as there are now. I feel like back then, you know, technology wasn't how it is now, right? Like nowadays you go online, you go on YouTube, you can easily find a guide for combos for the character you want to main.